Welcome to the 2019 NHL Gaming World Championship. We are in beautiful Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The CN Tower confirms that it is also the home of the Hockey Hall of Fame, and it is, of course, the host city for the Canadian Regional. This is the second of 3 stops on the road to the final in Las Vegas, and Young Gren is here, hoping to secure a return ticket and another chance to claim the title. We have the top NHL 19 players from Canada competing for their spot in the final. 3 returning players from the 2018 edition. 5 newcomers. The goal is the exact same. They want the title. They want to go to Las Vegas. So welcome inside the Sportsnet studio. My name is Faizal Khamisa. Happy to navigate you throughout this day. Happy to be joined as well by Arda, Okal, and Nasher. We were together, guys, in Sweden a week ago. The gameplay, the tournament was exciting there. It's going to be exciting again.
It is. We have a fantastic crop of talent right here at the Canadian Regional Finals. Young Gren looking to make it once again. We got J-Dubs and Sitful returning from 2018. But a notable omission has made it in 2019 after missing the tournament in the first year, and that is Josh Fearless. Keep that name. If you've never heard of him before, he will make a statement in this tournament. Yeah, he's been on the scene since NHL 12. Finally here for the GWC. He's won quite a few individual team tournaments in the near side, and we got a big game for him today. He's going to be putting on a show.
All right, we've got to wait a little bit to see what he will do. Let's look back, though, to see what went down at our first stop of this year's NHL Gaming World Championship. Like Toronto, a mix of old and new faces gathered in Sweden for the European Regional. It was a very, very familiar outcome. Finland's Eki going undefeated in regional play again to secure his place in Las Vegas. He's trying to repeat as the NHL Gaming World Champion, but Arda, it's going to be tough because of the talent. Can anyone really stop Eki?
No.
Okay.
No one can stop Eki. At least so far. At least so far. He is undefeated in 2018 at the NHL GWC. He is undefeated in 2019 in the NHL GWC.
Well, look, and we saw Hanselino hand over face, but it was mostly the favorites coming through for that semifinal matchup. So Hanselino is no slouch as well now, sure.
No, absolutely not. Hanselino, one of the most aggressive players in this tournament. He had McDavid in his lineup going into this series, and that really just allowed him to excel and use the speed to his advantage.
And you'd have to say, given the talent that we saw there in the games, those were probably the 2 right choices from Sweden to get there.
We had a very tough semifinal matchup between Hanselino and Playmaker. You see that at the bottom of the screen there. That could have been a final in any tournament.
It was the only series to go the maximum 3 games, and it was Hanselino coming through. 3 very different games, meaning on any day, any player could really win.
Oh, absolutely. And the guy that just stands out here, Eki, he's a dominating force in this tournament. Obviously, came in huge there in the EU, and we'll see if he can keep it going into Vegas.
All right, we do have a new format this time around from 2018. Let's take a look at the road to the 2019 NHL Gaming World Championship final. The journey beginning with online qualifiers across each of the 3 regions, Europe, Canada, and the U.S. Hundreds of competitors facing off in single elimination brackets with only the top 8 moving on to the live regional finals. The first last week in Stockholm, Sweden. The second today in the T-Dot. The third will be next week in New York. The winner and runner-up from each live regional final will win a trip to compete in the World Final in Las Vegas, Nevada. They get to attend the NHL Awards and, oh, by the way, compete head-to-head to win their share of $100,000. In fact, let's break down the entire prize pool. Winning in Toronto today gets you $5,000, and you advance straight to the semifinals in Vegas. Second place, don't worry, you're heading to Vegas in the round-robin stage. Say you win the Gaming World Championship, 50 grand in your pocket, 15 for finishing second, 10 for finishing third, 5 grand for finishing fourth, 2,500 just for showing up. But still, everybody wants the title. Everybody wants the prestige of being crowned the champion in this game. Let's take a look at the 8 players who are trying to do just that in today's Canadian Regional Final. And Arda, you already mentioned Josh Fearless. There are some other big names here as well. Maybe some guys that we don't know just yet that we might get familiar with.
And if you ask Josh Fearless who he thinks one of the competitors would be to make it out of the top bracket that he's not in, he pointed at MGX Nuclear, somebody who maybe a lot of the East Coast players in this regional crop don't play as much because he's over on the West Coast in Vancouver. A little bit of mystique around him, so he might surprise some people here.
Nasher, the top part of the bracket is good. That young Gren bracket, that bottom half, it is stacked.
Oh, yeah, look at those matchups. Josh Fearless and Young Gren go way back, a big rivalry there. If we were to see them meet in the next round, that is going to be just an insane matchup. Obviously, none of these matchups are given. These could both go either way.
All right, well, let's head on over to Carly Johnston right now, who is with Young Gren in the Honda Road to the final area.
Thanks, guys. Yep, I'm here with Young Gren. How does it feel to be back at the Canadian Regional Finals?
I'm excited to be back. There's a lot of people who weren't able to make it again from last year, so thankfully I was one of the few that could.
You're a favorite going into this tournament. How does that pressure feel while you're playing?
It kind of puts a target on your back. Like, I know everyone else here wants to beat me, but I'm going to try not to think about it that much.
Who is your toughest opponent going into this tournament?
I'd have to say probably my round 2 against Josh if I do match up with him. If not, then Nuclear in the final if I get there.
All right, awesome. Well, best of luck to you. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Carly. Also new for this season, all games will be played using Hockey Ultimate Team. Yes, HUT is an NHL 19 game mode that allows you to create your fantasy lineup and compete online against other players from around the world. Now, before today's event, the regional finalists all took part in a fantasy draft to select their 25-player roster and NHL team. Each player has their own custom roster. No two competitors have the same NHL players. It means there are some stacked lines, some stacked teams, lots of talent, Nasher, which means we're going to see some great gameplay.
Oh, absolutely. We talked to Young Gren, and just looking at his lineup, he's got Crosby, Doughty, Laine, Aho, Josh Fearless, who he may match up against, Ovechkin, Sagan, Getzlaf. I mean, they have very different teams, but very unique teams, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how they match up against each other.
And the best part is only one Crosby, so it makes it a little easier for you, Arda, as well. All right, don't you dare go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break, but coming up, the players, oh, they are ready to go. It is close to game time. We have the quarterfinal round matches here at the NHL Gaming World Championship. Toronto, Ontario, the home for the Canadian Regional Finals for the NHL Gaming World Championship. Two players looking to move on to Vegas. $5,000 on the line and a first-round bye in the final. Let's take you through quarterfinal action, starting with one of the highlights of the first round, Nuclear and Sitful. And guys, this one went down to the wire quite literally. Let's start with game one, though, where Nuclear making his presence felt, Nasher.
Yeah, how about Nuclear? Kind of an underdog, underrated player in this tournament, really showing up early, defeating Sitful in game one, but Sitful wasn't going to back down.
Yeah, Sitful returning to the NHL Gaming World Championship after qualifying in 2018. He wasn't about to back down without a fight, taking game number 2, forcing this one to go to game 3.
And it was in game 3 where it literally came down to the wire as well. Let's start with Nuclear doing what he does. We saw a lot of this skating and shooting and scoring, Nasher. He's kind of made people unnoticed because of that style.
Yeah, he's an absolute sniper and one of the most creative players in this game. He can make nothing into something. There, though, Sitful bouncing back to tie this game up.
And that's why it came down to the extra period. Overtime needed. One of these guys going home early, one of them going through to the semifinal. It was Nuclear in the end with a little fake wraparound turn and score. You can see the range of emotion on their faces as well. Sitful disappointed. Out again, Nuclear going through. Next quarterfinal had Gren and Mr. Dreezy, and most people didn't really know who Mr. Dreezy was, but he erased a 3-0 deficit, came back to score 4 until Gren did this, Arda.
I mean, listen, many people wouldn't have even guessed that Mr. Dreezy could score against Young Gren, let alone 4 goals. So this is impressive in itself, all the way to overtime, but then
it was, Young Gren, 16 seconds left in the extra frame, getting that first dub, that first victory. And then in game 2, again, it wasn't as dominant as maybe we expected from Gren, but it was still enough, Nasher, for him to get through.
Oh, I think we were all very impressed with how Mr. Dreezy played defense. His defensive skill, especially against an offensive powerhouse like Young Gren, was truly impressive. And there we can see he's getting on the board, tying this thing up at 1.
Yeah, he didn't let himself, get blown out, Arda, which is impressive.
Oldest player in the tournament, 37 years of age, from Sudbury, Ontario, worked in the mines in his life, a contractor. I love the guy's story. Just the fact that he made it here is incredible, and putting up the effort against young Gren like that, formidable.
So the kid beats the mister in that one. This one had Josh Fearless and J-Dubs, and it was, despite some goals from J-Dubs, it was all Josh Fearless. Again, he wanted to make his name felt here, didn't he, Nasher?
Oh, yeah. J-Dubs got off to kind of an early lead, but then after that, it's all J-Fear. Look at this. One-timer after one-timer. He kept bringing the heat, and unfortunately, the just brutal offense from J-Fear was too much to handle.
It was exactly like that in the second game as well. A bit of a goalie change for J-Dubs. It didn't matter, Arda.
No, it didn't. J-Fear wanted to make sure that he was J-feared in this tournament, and he did exactly that with a huge victory over a returning participant in J-Dub.
Yeah, and we know J-Fear was disappointed not to have been here a year ago, but again, he knew what had to be done against a tough first-round opponent, and as we take a look at the bracket, we see again, a lot of the big guys, and there were so many of them amongst the 8 here, still going through. X-Dubs, Nuclear setting up one semifinal. Young Gren, Josh Fearless, the second semifinal, the one everybody was waiting for. Ahead of that, though, Josh joined our Carly in the Honda Road to the finals area.
That's right. I'm here with Josh Fearless, who just won his game, headed to the semifinals. You didn't make the regionals last year. Did that light a fire inside of you?
Yeah, of course. Coming back here, putting on a good display at the start. I mean, that's all because of last year. If I made it, I would have been calm. But since I didn't make it, I was very eager to get into it, get the wins, and just put a lot of goals on the board.
A lot of emotions and celebrations in that last game. How important is it to keep the game fun?
That's what we're here for, right? It's all about fun. If you take it too seriously, you're gonna miss like life in general, right? You want to experience it for yourself. And I know 50K is a lot of money, but in retrospect, in the big vision, like it's all about having fun. Life's about being happy and having fun. So.
Absolutely, I love that. Next up, you've got Young Gren, a pretty tall order. You guys are two really good players. How are you feeling going into this matchup?
I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, I got some insiders on him from big old John Wayne, but we'll see how it goes. I think I might be able to pull through.
Awesome. Well, best of luck to you. Back to you guys.
All right, so the Young Gren, Josh Fearless semifinals still to come. X-Dubs, Nuclear, the first semifinal. Nuke impressing some people.
Yeah, how about him coming out of nowhere, really unexpected in this tournament to even make it past round one. And here he is making his way potentially to Vegas, depending on the outcome of this match.
And still to come, Josh Fearless, Young Gren, the biggest rivalry in Chell history with the two of the best players in Chell history.
Well, let's go to the first semifinal, the first game. It was a difficult one. It was a tough one. Let's get into that match right now. Nuclear, X-Dubs, the winner of this one. Oh, they were going to Vegas. And, if people were coming into this one unaware of who Nuclear was, they learned pretty quickly that he's a force to be reckoned with.
And how about his creativity? The goals that we've seen from him so far in this tournament, he's able to score from every area on the ice. You see one-timers, you see one-handers, and here we see potentially one of the most creative of this tournament, the back-skating breakaway, avoiding the flying poke check to give him a huge lead in this game.
So a dominating Game 1 win. Game 2, Arda. He showed that he was ready to come for the crown.
He was able to shut down X-Dubs completely in this series. This was a statement game by Nuke as he punched his ticket to Las Vegas.
The only one here from Vancouver, the only one from the West Coast, well, one step away from West Coast being the best coast as he made his way, as we look at the bracket, straight to the finals and booked his ticket to Las Vegas. But guys, again, it was all eyes on the second semifinal. Young Gren, Josh Fearless, that's the one that we're waiting to get to, which we will in a hot second. So it's been, of course, a day of highs and a day of lows, as it always is at the NHL Gaming World Championship. Well, if you thought emotions were high before, wait till the second semifinal. Young Gren, Josh Fearless, it's coming up from Toronto at the Gaming World Championship. If you squint, you can see Drake sitting on the CN Tower, maybe filming another album cover. We're back in Toronto, Ontario, home of the Canadian Regional Final, the NHL Gaming World Championship. And guys, it is what everybody wanted. The matchup that Chell community, people that have been here for years, expected to see. Josh Fearless, Young Gren.
The only views we need right now.
Okay. Yeah, hit him. I love it. I love it.
Are Young Gren and Josh Fearless. The greatest rivalry is here, and another huge chapter is about to be written.
Yeah, these guys are two of the most experienced in the Chell community, and they've gone head-to-head quite a bit in the past. Never on a stage quite like this one, so we'll see how they play today.
Let's get into it. Semi-final number 2, Young Gren and Josh Fearless.
Here is Gren with Oshie. Back to McAvoy at the point. To Oshie again. Landeskog scores, and Gren is on the board first. It's 1-0.
Wow, nice play. Able to keep it in at the point, gets it down low, cuts it across the middle of the ice. Lots of open space there, and a one-timer on the far side. Young Gren with an early let's go.
Here's the Great Clips family room as Bones and Sleeves are celebrating there. Nuke is watching along as well. Family members there. Sylvan, dad of Young Gren, celebrating along.
Yeah, it looks like Gren's offense, as we can see, he's entering the zone. He's going to L2, backwards skating quite a bit as he enters the zone, and that's just causing a lot of penalty trouble there for Fearless. Fortunate enough for him, Gren not able to convert yet, but we'll see what happens.
Was mentioning that. Look at the rebound there, and Jay Fear scores, and you can see the emotion there. He's fine, everybody. He's all right, and he also tied the game.
Jay Fear almost fell out of his seat on that one. The excitement on the PK. Sometimes you just got to throw pucks at the net. That is what he did there, and it leads to a golden rebound opportunity.
With the score tied at 1, let's get into second period play.
Foligno to Boyle. Boyle has the puck. Seconds to spare in the middle frame. An opportunity that misses the net, and it will be tied at 1.
Both of them threading a needle in the offense. Both of them just trying to find any amount of space, a millimeter of space if they can. Here's Riley to Weber.
Weber shoots. He scores! Josh Fearless, and Gren is left stunned.
Oh my goodness. Jay Fear did not expect that one to go.
Wait a second. He said no goal. Hold on a second. We got to see this one more time.
It could be a goaltender interference in front. We'll have to take another look at it. Bounces around. Yep, you see the shove right there in front. I think that one's getting called back.
8:17 to go in the third period. Game number 1. Here's Crosby for Gren. Aho to Crosby, to Line A. Oh, he tried the dangle, and he couldn't get it at the last second, but he scores from behind the net. Gren with Aho makes it 2-1.
Never give up on the play. Young Gren tried to go for a one-hander, was shut down. Puck went behind the net. Instead of forcing the pass, he went directly for the wraparound. Gets it there on the short side. What a goal to put him up in this one.
And here comes Gren with Domi and Hornquist. But Riley has it, a breakaway here. What can Jay Fear do? The one-hander, oh, he scores in his own net!
What is happening here? Wow! Goes for the one-hander, it does not go. But a bounce off his own skate from Young Gren, and that one finds its way to the back of the net.
Look at that emotion. It was the agony of missing the one-hand tuck, but then the ecstasy of getting a lucky bounce like that to tie the game with 5 minutes to go in the third period. With 10 seconds, here's Dahlin circling through the offensive zone. Maybe time for one more opportunity. The clock is ticking away. Here's Crosby. Nothing doing, and yes, Faisal, I am Gren-tertained.
This game all tied up at 2. It is time for overtime.
Back at neutral strength, here comes Jay Fear. Up to Riley, Morgan Riley. Takes the puck through the flank. Back to Riley again. Riley scores! Jay Fear takes game number 1.
What a finish from Jay Fear, waving the towel around and eyeing the camera. This guy is in his zone. 1-0 Jay Fear in this series. Youngren trying to control his goalie to prevent that from happening, gave him the space, and Jay Fear, of course, burying it.
After the break, it is game 2 between Youngren and Josh Fearless. Welcome back to Toronto, Ontario. Time for more action from game 2 between Youngren and Josh Fearless.
We are halfway through the power play, more than halfway through the period, still scoreless. Here comes Aho.
To Crosby, to Line, a save made by Holtby. Aho scores the one-timer, and for the second consecutive game, Gren takes the lead early.
Youngren never gives up on plays. Obviously there, he wanted that first one-timer to go in. That one didn't go. The rebound comes out. Great play by Youngren with the relentless shooting.
And here comes Jay Fear. Dances through the neutral zone, still has the puck. Passes it over, the shot doesn't go off, but in fact, that's a penalty shot. Here we go. Ovechkin, Vasilevsky scores!
What a play from Fearless. Able to find him short side. Youngren feels like he was in good position there, but not quite enough. Fearless able to pick the corner with Alexander Ovechkin top right.
10 to go. Jay Fear with Stahl in the neutral zone. Here's Riley. The pass doesn't make it, and this one is going to overtime. Dangerous positions, Gren able to get out of it. Back skates through the blue line. Here's Line, he takes the shot, he scores! Gren ties the series up, and this is going to game 3.
This one is not over yet. Youngren gets out of his chair and waves the towel for himself. How about that play? Decided to throw the puck out on his own end, a bit of a risky play, makes his way up the ice, and what a goal by Youngren.
Game number 3, it all comes down to this. Series tied at 1. Jay Fear, Youngren. The winner of this game, Las Vegas.
I think they have really adapted to each other's play style. They figured out each other's strategies from the first 2 games. We're going to see what can happen. Something's got to give.
The puck is behind the net. Here's Youngren, he scores on the wraparound! Breaks the deadlock!
We've seen him score this goal many times in this tournament, and he does it yet again. The wraparound, finding open space far side. Fearless got caught behind the net, unfortunately not able to cut him off. And of course, Youngren very happy to get the first one on the board.
Youngren up 1-0. Let's jump to the third.
Jay Fear takes it back. Here's Gourde. Gourde to Tkachuk. Tkachuk, the rebound! Oh, it doesn't make it through, but still has it, Jay Fear. Under 10 to go in the third. The wraparound scores! 2 wraparound goals, and we are tied!
Jay Fear did not give up on the play. We hear him yelling from across the room. This guy is in his zone. Attempts to go for the rebound that he's been going for all series long. That does not go, but he finds the same wraparound that Youngren did on him.
It had to be overtime for a 3rd straight game. Nothing big on the line, just the winner goes to Vegas. Let's get you to OT.
A minute 50 to go in the first overtime. Youngren has it behind the net, just like you said, Nasher. Behind the net, he scores! Youngren has done it! He defeated Josh Fearless! Oh my God. And just like that, Youngren stays undefeated against Josh Fearless. In land tournaments, Youngren books his ticket for the 2nd consecutive year to Las Vegas. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable is right, Arda. We saw the respect from these 2 players after that game. The respect being passed around in the Great Cliff family and friends room. Respect all around amongst everybody in the house today. That was, guys, an all-timer, 3 overtimes in 3 games. All decided, yeah, he's gonna stand up and clap.
That was amazing. That was amazing. Well done to both of them. They gave us one of the greatest matchups we've ever seen in any tournament.
100%. I've never seen anything like that. We knew it was going to go to game 3. We did not expect 3 overtimes. With these guys playing the best they've ever played, I've never seen anything like that.
It felt as if they were both forced to go with alternative strategies. Both were shutting down the usual plays. As you said, Nash, we didn't see the usual gameplay that we see from these guys or players traditionally in this tournament because everything was on the line. They had to tighten up a bit defensively.
Yeah, the defense from both of these guys, we saw good chances going both ways. Poke checks at the most opportune times. Ljunggren shutting down multiple fearless attempts across the middle, and just unbelievable defense and, of course, unbelievable offense at the end there by Ljunggren to finish that game.
All right, let's hear what Gren has to say. Let's head over to Carly, who's standing by with him on the road to the finals area.
Thanks, Faisal. That's right. I'm here with Ljunggren, who is going to Vegas again after a 3-game series overtime in every single game against a rival, too. How sweet is this victory?
It's awesome. I mean, it still doesn't really set into me, but that was probably the hardest game I've ever played.
You came over here saying you were sweating. Emotions were high. I saw you out of your seat every single time you scored. What does this tournament mean to you?
It means a lot. I mean, obviously, it's the biggest tournament of the year, and after last year, I didn't do too well in Vegas, so hopefully this year I can do better.
All right, game 3, you had a big penalty shot save against Josh. You saw him score a penalty shot goal in the game beforehand. What was your thought process going into this? How did you make that save?
On the first one, I tried to react, and I was just a bit too slow, I think. I thought I saved it, but I didn't. And then in the second game, I was like, all right, screw it. I'll come at him.
Right. And next up, in the finals, you're going against Nuclear. He's a cool, calm, collected player. You guys are very different players. How are you feeling going into this matchup?
I'm excited. Yeah, I've played him a bunch online, and I know he's a really good player, so hopefully you have some fun.
Very cool. Best of luck to you. Looking forward to watching the finals. Guys, back to you.
All right, we're going to take a very quick break, but stay with us. Coming up next, we have our final match. Yes, still more matches to go. Nuclear Ljunggren, the winner, takes home $5 grand and secures a first-round bye in Vegas here at the NHL Gaming World Championship. It has been an emotional day here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Family, friends, the players alike, all feeling it with so much on the line. 2 players getting set to go to Vegas and represent Canada in the NHL Gaming World Championship World Final. Somebody will win $5,000. Somebody will get a first-round bye in said final as well. The excitement, it is through the roof as we get set for the Canadian final. And it's a final that features MGX Nuclear and Ljunggren. Ironically, guys, it was Ljunggren who said he wouldn't be surprised if Nuclear was in that final. He's super underrated.
Yeah, how about this? Nuclear actually ended up buying NHL 19 because of Ljunggren's performance in the GWC last year. He thought to himself, I can do this too, and that's just what he did here today.
He could be inspired by Ljunggren, but he could leave the champion by going through Ljunggren.
All right, there's been a million great matches today. We're getting set for the last one. First, the Astro Gaming A40 Tournament Ready Headset Plus Mix Amp Pro TR is the premier audio solution for esports athletes, content creators, and streamers. Get yours now on astrogaming.ca. Let's get into our final match between MGX Nuclear and Ljunggren. The winner goes home with $5 grand and a first-round bye in Las Vegas.
So, Nasher, we're down to 2. There is Nuke and there is Gren. Gren in familiar territory. Gren has been here before. Gren has qualified before. This is his 2nd consecutive year, making it to the grand final. So he cements himself as the most decorated Chell player in history, we can say, safe to say. Meanwhile, Nuke looking to make a name for himself, possibly with a victory here over Gren.
Absolutely, and I think it's safe to say Nuke has already made a name for himself in this tournament,
Right.
Obviously making it onto Las Vegas, coming out of nowhere as kind of the underdog, underrated player in this tournament, but of course he's going to have a very tough matchup here against Ljunggren.
So Ljunggren had this to say about MGX Nuclear. He's underrated. From the top half of the bracket, he's my pick. If he plays the same way, he's my pick. So his prediction came true. Meanwhile, Nuclear said this about Ljunggren. He inspired me to get back into competitive play. I saw him on the big stage. It made me want to grind and compete, but hold the phone. Gren with an early first goal.
Ljunggren getting it off to a good start here with that first line. We mentioned the dominance of Doughty, of Crosby. Of course, Crosby getting a great feed there in front to bury the one-timer. Ljunggren back on the board.
I really thought between him and you in the same room, it was like the YouTube content creator explosion was about to happen.
I should have got my camera out. The content would have been endless.
The
5 minutes he was in here, absolutely.
How
we
about
have
this?
a goal.
Nuke ties the game. It's Barzy again for Nuke, ties it at 1.
Tell you what, Barzy has been the MVP for Nuke. We've seen him have a 4-goal game already, gets one early to tie this game at 1. This year, of course, $5,000 still on the line. A large chunk of change goes into this game, but more importantly, playing for that spot guaranteed in Vegas. You don't want to go to Vegas. And
oh my God, what a goal. That is a Young Gren special. Just keep the puck around, back skate a little bit, make the pass, take the goal. Young Gren takes the lead.
Right, obviously, number one, these guys want to make it to Vegas for the chance to be the world champion, but coming out of this thing, calling yourself the best player in Canada, no small feat.
Oh, and look at that goal by Nuke. Takes it back to within 1. Jason Zucker, the culprit.
Tell you what, nice little spinorama there by Nuke. Opens up the space, and what a pass across the middle. One-timer right away.
The winner is guaranteed a Final Four spot. Second place has to compete in a play-in with the other second-place regional finalists. Much tougher road to grand champion status. And what was that? 5 seconds. Might be too little too late, and that will do it. Yes, game 1 goes to Gren.
Seconds away from game 2. The Canadian final, guys. Young Gren, Nuclear. It is about to go down once again. Gren still the favorite in your eyes, Nasher?
Yeah, it's hard to root against Young Gren. The run that he's had in this tournament, the opponents that he's had to face, debatably one of the toughest. Road to the championship here in this bracket, and of course playing one of the best, Nuclear here. I gotta give it to Young Gren though. He's gonna put on a show for us in this second game here.
Nuke, often with a completely expressionless face. You could call him the Captain Holt of Chell. And just as I say that, he scores with Nathan McKinnon, still expressionless, but takes the lead in this game. Nice poke. There's a breakaway right here for Gren. Nice manual goalie to put Hellebuck into position by Nuke.
Yeah, really shut down the whole side there, but not
there's a goal. No, it doesn't shut that.
Young Gren never gives up on the play. We've seen him do this 2 or 3 times so far in this tournament.
All tied up at 1 in game 2 between Young Gren and Nuclear. It's time for the third.
That wraparound far side, very, very good goal in this game. It's hard to pull off, especially with these guys playing elite level defense, but with all the opportunities, here's another Nuke.
How about that? Nuke scores, and it's Barzal once again.
Barzal, the game changer. Every single game, he has come in huge for Nuke.
But a pass here for Gren. Gren looking for the guy, he scores! And just like that, we're tied.
Jeez, bounces back like it's nothing. One rush up the ice, one pass, and that is all Gren needs. Takes a sip of water, washes off in his hands, and he is now ready to go for this next one. We are all tied up.
Spurgeon passes to Rantanen. Rantanen into the offensive zone. McKinnon. McKinnon scores! The snipe. Oh, Young Gren's not happy about that one.
McKinnon is the sniper. He's got a goal already this game. There is another one. Grabs a turnover from Young Gren around the blue line, takes it in, and of course, he's gonna bury it. What a shot. Look right there, 5-on-3. He can take it with Crosby, and he's still got time to come back in this thing.
And by the way, Nuke was smiling there. Like, unbelievable. But here's a chance here. The dive doesn't work. Martinez scores, seals the deal. 44 seconds to go. Hischier and Barzy with the apples. And that'll about do it. Nuke will take game 2, and the Canadian Championship will be decided with 1 game.
Don't count Nuke out just yet, folks. Everything to play for at the NHL Gaming World Championship here in Canada. Young Gren and Nuclear play game 3 coming up, all tied up at 1.
Intercepted by Nuke. Henry streak scores. Nuke gets on the board first.
Nuke with a beautiful play. We see his patience again and again. He finds the open guy. He's able to thread passes. How about a nice clap from mid-slot?
Down 1 zip, tied 1-1. Puck drop, second period, right now.
This could be deja vu for young Gren. But hang on a second, Gren off to, oh boy, the one-hand tuck. Are you kidding me?
Wow, we have not seen a lot of those today. You're talking about young Gren, and hey, he's gonna shut you up. How about that, a one-hander off the opening draw, just a mere 27 seconds into this period.
Meanwhile, in the offensive zone now, what can Nuke conjure up here? They are tied at 1, 15:40 left in the second. A one-timer by Taves, and it finds its way to the back of the net. Taves will get credit for the goal, and it's 2-1.
Wow, that one a bit unfortunate for Gren. We've talked about his post today, 7 total posts. Well, that one a little bit unlucky as well. Hits off his goaltender, tries to make the desperation save, but ends up putting it into his own net, which we've seen him do twice today now. You could tell Nuclear wanted to go with the one-hander there. He saw that Gren manually controlled his goalie and thought, hey, there's no chance that's going in. He tried to go short side like young Gren allowed the goal versus Fearless, but no. And
then how about that? Oh my gosh, the insurance goal, Barzal again. Oh, how clutch has Barzal been for Nuke in this tournament. But hey, we've seen now 2 one-hand tucks in this game. And now here in Game 3, taking a 3-1 lead with 13 minutes to go in the game. But Gren brings it to within 1 with Patrick Laine.
What a beautiful play to bring it within 1 with Patrick Laine.
But Gren still has it. He misses the net on the shot.
That goes in every time, says young Gren. Not this time. Try to go for a one-hander. Great defense by Nuke. Gets an open chance in front. That doesn't go either.
And Nuke has a chance right here. He scores! Somehow, some way. Oh my gosh.
Nathan McKinnon, the sniper, and I saw another smile from Nuke on that one.
13 seconds to go. Gren looking for any opportunity. The one-timer doesn't convert. Oh my gosh. And with that, Nuke is your Canadian champion.
He is, guys, the champion, well represented as well. He deserves to be there, given what we've seen from him today.
Oh, absolutely. Both of these guys, they put on a show for us today, I gotta say. We were thoroughly entertained for the duration of this entire show. Obviously, Nuclear playing some of the best NHL 19. I don't know what he expected going to this tournament as the unknown guy, kind of the underdog, underrated. He showed he's not underrated. He's right where he deserves to be right now going into Las Vegas.
I gotta say that Gren mentioned in the interviews yesterday that a possible matchup against Josh Fearless would, in a way, be his final.
Sure.
Not to say that it takes away from anything that happened in the actual final, but I think Gren still feels like a winner here today as well.
Of course, because he is going to Vegas, not as the top seed. That goes to Nuclear. He is standing by with our Carly Johnston in the Honda Road to the finals area.
That's right. I'm here with the Canadian regional champion, Nuclear, which is really an exciting thing to say because you came in as kind of the unknown player, the underdog, if you will. So how incredible is it to be standing here saying that you're the regional champion in Canada?
I've had a lot of doubters, and just to be here, it feels great. But to be honest, like I wasn't satisfied with my performance in Game 3. I think Gren should have taken it, but nevertheless, I'm still happy that I won that.
So you brought up your last opponent, young Gren, someone who you said was completely underrated. How does it feel? Does it make this victory that much sweeter that you beat out the tournament favorite?
It means a lot. I respect Gren. He gave me my toughest challenge for sure. I think that the fact that he acknowledges me as a competitor when other people haven't, that makes me feel good.
All right, so Las Vegas in under a month for the finals. Who are you going to bring?
Well, I was going to bring my parents and my sister for sure. I think they'll enjoy that experience.
All right, thank you very much, Carly. Again, it was Nuclear saying he wants to win this, not for him, for his parents as well. That money will go to them for all they have done for him. And now he is the champion. 4 of 6 players are set. You can see who joins these guys in Vegas next, live from the U.S. Regional Finals in New York on Thursday. Mark your calendars for June 18th as well. Las Vegas, Nevada is the place where someone will be crowned the 2019 NHL Gaming World Champion, take home 50 grand. Arda, final thoughts from today.
I gotta say, this has been one of the greatest afternoons of Chell that we have ever seen. We saw drama high and low. I'm spent. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching it because, like, that, what a show.
Oh, absolutely. And obviously going forward to the U.S., going to be equally as exciting there. We have a lot of fun, exciting guys there. It's going to be a blast. Looking forward to it.
It has been a fun and exciting day here as well. Congratulations to the two heading to Vegas. MGX Nuclear, Young Gren representing Canada against the world on June 18th in Las Vegas, Nevada. It was a day of highs. It was a day of lows. It was a day of some really good NHL 19 and two really good players going to rep this country in Sin City. For Arda Ocal, for Nasher, I am Faizal Khamisa. Up next, it is New York, then the final from Las Vegas, Nevada.